there, warm welcome. You're watching Decoding Now, and I'm Meghna Deka. Well, is there a formula to live forever? Is Vladimir Putin, now at the age of 73, walking on the path to immortality? Well, tonight on Decoding Now, we will take you inside Russia's $26 billion biotech research lab, where they aim to repair humans and regrow human organs so that we can live forever. Interestingly, the longevity project in Russia is being headed by Putin's own daughter, Maria Vorontsova. Well, Putin has ruled Russia for over 2 decades and could stay in power, technically speaking, until 2036. And by then, he would be 83 years old. It appears that his entire focus, the entire state's focus now, is not on the war and death, but life and longevity, defeating aging itself. After all, Putin, who's already 73 years old, has spent decades cultivating the image of physical vigor through stage displays of masculinity. You can see those examples on your screens. Visuals of hunting shirtless, of playing ice hockey, of riding Harley-Davidson motorcycles in tight black outfits. All of this to project that he has the stamina of an ageless strongman. After all, look at the visuals. He played ice hockey when he was 63 years old. You can see the visuals of him in an ice bath when he was 65 years old. Playing judo when he was 66 years old. These visuals are very high on optics. Horseback riding, bare horseback riding at the age of 66. Visuals such as this may be staged, but at the end of it, it projects the image that immortality can be the superpower of Putin. Behind these optics of virality, of hype, of immortality, also lies a $26 billion research in Russia that we don't, interestingly, know too much about. After all, there are Silicon Valley billionaires who are there in the race for eternity. And this includes Jeff Bezos. This includes Sam Altman, Peter Thiel. Putin himself has been fascinated with anti-aging research. Tonight, we are going to decode how Putin's immortality project relies on organ printing, on harvesting mini pigs, and exposure to ultra-low temperatures, the ice baths that we were telling you about. But let's explain what's been achieved so far and what's the final aim. So what is the aim is the target for 2030, which is 3D printed human organs inside a lab, printed with 3D imaging. However, what has been achieved already is bioprinted human cartilage tissue. What also has been achieved right now is mouse thyroid gland, which has been grown already in a lab. These are things that they have already managed to do. The future plan is going to be to grow human organs inside mini pigs which are going to be harvested for the sole reason of making human organs. These human organs will be taken from the mini pigs and then are going to be transplanted. At least that's the aim, to transplant these human organs inside human beings. But they will be harvested inside mini pigs. Very interesting. So let's get you the faces who are leading this project. The first face, as I was telling you, it is being headed by Maria Vorontsova. She is Putin's daughter, but she's also a noted endocrinologist. There's also Mikhail Kovalchuk. He is a physicist himself. They are allegedly the 2 people who are leading this entire project of longevity in Kremlin. But let's also tell you what Mikhail Kovalchuk has said about the secret projects, what it is about and what can be expected, and what really has been officially released by the Kremlin itself. This is what Mikhail Kovalchuk has said. He says that the ability to repair man undoubtedly has now increased. But it is difficult to discuss immortality on the whole. What has the Kremlin press service has said? Officially, this is what Russia has said. that there is work on in a range of longevity programs, that these projects are supported by the state. That yes, it is Kremlin which is funding and pushing through as the state priority, the top state priority, projects such as this for longevity. But of course, there are several skeptics as well. They question the iron wall of secrecy of Russian experiments, of Russian biotech experiments that we barely know anything about. Unlike similar research, which is also being carried out in different countries. For example, in America, there is a research which is being funded by Jeff Bezos, Altman, Thiel. The work there is being promoted by Putin's inner circle in Russia. However, it has produced very little peer-reviewed research in major international journals. In fact, Alexander Otrovsky, he is a Russian scientist who had pioneered bioprinting in Russia. He's spoken to the Wall Street Journal about the pitfalls of the research which may be carried out in Russia even as we speak. Otrovsky has said that he has his doubts. After all, he's someone who had left Russia after the full-scale invasion of Ukraine. He sold off his company. His company currently, which he had already sold off, is now collaborating with the government. So Wall Street Journal has spoken to Otrovsky. Otrovsky says that if there are no publications, then there are no real results. And their statements should probably be taken as aspirations, not to say dreams. He adds that it is impossible to do science in absolute isolation. He's, of course, referring to the sanctions that have cut off Russian research from the rest of the world. In fact, he's also quipped that they are probably telling President Putin what he wants to hear so that they can secure funding from him. So clearly, there are a lot of skeptics there. Now remember, when Vladimir Putin was captured by a hot mic, telling Chinese President Xi Jinping that humans could achieve immortality by replacing their organs, some of them dismissed this exchange as eccentric small talk between aging autocrats. But in fact, during the conversation at a Beijing military parade last September, Putin appeared to be describing what we now know, a Kremlin-backed longevity initiative that has become one of Russia's flagship scientific projects. Listen in once again to the moment which was captured between the two aging autocrats, Putin and Xi Jinping. All of this was captured on the hot mic. This is where it appears that Putin is revealing to Xi the research which is being done in Russia. Well, clearly, from Silicon Valley to cutting-edge biotech labs to the Kremlin, there is a new race which is currently underway. The race to extend human life itself, the race towards immortality. Well, leading the charge is Jeff Bezos with Altus Labs, which is a biotech startup which is focused specifically on cellular rejuvenation. It is backed by a staggering $3 billion. Well, the company is working on therapies to restore cell health and combat aging at a very core. It's also joining the race is Sam Altman. He is, of course, the CEO of OpenAI. Now, through Retro Biosciences. Now, his team of scientists is using AI to turn normal cells into younger stem cells, which aims to add 10 healthy years to human life. Well, Altman has also poured in $180 million to this cutting-edge research. And then there is billionaire Peter Thiel. Now, through his foundation, which is funding research on reversing aging and preventing age-related diseases with $100 to $200 million at stake, the funding which is coming from Thiel himself. Now, these are the 3 billionaires who are rewriting the rules of science in their quest for longevity and probably immortality, but giving them competition is none other than the Kremlin. It is President Putin himself. But let's explain to you why the hype over living long. This is the life expectancy chart of the world. That explains to you us, on an average, how many people are living for how many years. In Australia, it has one of the highest life expectancies, which is that of 84.1 years per person. Italy has 83.9, very close. Canada is 82.7, UK is 81.5 years, US is 79.5 years. In India, it is merely 72.2 years of average age expectancy. In Japan, it is very high, 84.8 years. Korea, again, very high, 84.4 years. This gives you a sense of who's expected to live how long if you're in that country. But is this entire matrix going to change by none other than President Putin is the question. Let me go across. Today, joining us on the show, we have Dr. Ishwar Gilada, public health expert and Secretary of General of People's Health Organization, India. Also, Dr. Shikha Sharma is joining us, senior nutritionist. Ishwar Gilada, sir, I'm going to be coming across to you because, doctor, you must explain to us, do we really have a formula for immortality, or do you think that whatever is being said on these unconfirmed reports, because there are no peer-reviewed journals, printings which are available to us, do you think we are in a position to gauge where we are in the longevity run?
You see, the modern medicine depends on three basic principles. One is the evidence-based medicine. If you have evidence, you publish in a peer-reviewed journal. Secondly, ethical standards should be maintained. And thirdly, no harm should be done to human beings. So if these three things are taken care of, then any research is okay. Secondly, firstly, are we looking at a lifespan or health span? So we can increase lifespan, but if health span is not good, then it is useless. Thirdly, we have to invest ourselves currently on preventive health. In preventive health, meaning if there are health damages caused due to smoking, tobacco, some agents which are causing cancer, respiratory diseases, cardiovascular diseases, we need to work on that. Now, coming to Russia, Russia's average lifespan for male is around 68 to 69 and female is 79. So there's a huge gap of 10 years, which is nowhere in the world. So I think they should first invest on why the males are dying earlier than female. It's the same country, same food, same air, and same everything. So if they invest on that, that's fine. Lastly, coming to economics or commercial, even in our medical profession, if we talk about dermatologists and mineralogists, those specialists which were looking at skin and STD, we don't find them in skin or STD. They're all cosmetologists now. Because there's money in cosmetology, people do not spend on routine health, but they can spend on looking good. So there are two ways of aging. One is looking good at the given age. Secondly, increasing your age. So currently, what Russia is looking at is increasing the age by different manipulations. And those different manipulations, if they are proven scientifically, the world will accept. If they are not proven scientifically, the world will not accept. We cannot compare Putin with entire Russia. We cannot compare a 73-year-old man with other people. So he must have had a very healthy life. So it depends on constitution of body, healthy life, but it cannot be replicated in every other Russian or in people in the world.
Dr. Gilada, you've made a very, very relevant point there. Putin may look like this when he's 73. We are putting out the ages as well in the visuals that we are putting out, at what age he was doing which. Dr. Shikha Sharma, do you concur with what Dr. Gilada is saying? Not everyone can be a Putin. For example, playing judo at the age of 66 years, bareback horse riding at the age of 66 again, ice baths that he has. However, longevity could also be ensured with the right habits and practices.
So firstly, let me explain to you that how does aging happen. So every cell is continuously working. And when cells divide or repair themselves, and there is something called telomere shortening. That means every time a cell divides, a part of the whole mitochondrial system becomes lesser and lesser. And after a point of time, when the telomeres are very short, the multiplication reduces, number one. Now, has there been any research or any work done? Yes, in India, in Ayurvedic sciences, it was called Rasayan Tantra, which was the science of reducing aging, or which meant that basically somebody could look much younger than their years. That's where the whole concept of biological aging and chronological aging came, meaning and somebody could be a 25-year-old with a very bad lifestyle. Chronologically, the person is 25-year-old. But because of the bad lifestyle, where there's a lot of cellular damage happening, the person's biological age could be 40. Similarly, somebody could be a 50-year-old chronologically, but because this person's body is repairing itself very effectively, the person's biological age could be much lesser. Now, this concept separating chronological age and biological age is more recent in modern medicine. Now, let's also look at many years back, a heart disease was permanent. There was nothing called reversing heart disease. But reversing heart disease today is a reality. Reversing blockages in the heart is a reality. Similarly, nobody ever spoke about what you can say IVF. There was no IVF 30 years back. Today, couples who cannot have babies are having babies through IVF. Now, what I'm trying to say is, in ancient India, there was a Rasayan Shastra. In modern India, we are seeing these things happen. The liver, if you really see, if you remove 2/3 of the liver, it can regrow. It can actually regrow. When you break a bone, the bone attaches itself, provided you align it properly. So so our bodies can actually repair ourselves. Now, the question is, why don't you see it happen? Why we don't see it happen is, let's look at nutrition. Bad nutrition, poisonous nutrition, chemical nutrition, wrong kind of food choices, wrong ingredients, poor quality ingredients. Let's look at sleep, which is a very important part of anti-aging. Lack of sleep, disturbed sleep, wrong time of sleep. Let's look at repair. Now, if you really see, most children today, if they're getting spectacles, which used to happen later in life, is because of screen time. Right. So what I'm trying to say is that anti-aging is a reality. There has been research before. There is research happening. Now the question is, can a common man afford it? No. It is for the wealthy, it is for the powerful, it is for the super rich. And that's where this
Absolutely. However, there is lifestyle changes which are in our hands. So instead of trying to look for that elusive fountain of youth, perhaps we should take corrective steps in our own lives. But Dr. Ishwar Gilada, and this is something that Dr. Sharma is also talking about, how medical sciences has really expanded the scope of our imagination as to what could happen. For example, one of the researchers, at least that's what's being reported right now, that Kremlin is looking into is 3D printing of human organs, of regrowing human organs in mini pigs as well. That kind of a dream. It could be a lot of hype, but is that even in the realm of possibility, Dr. Gilada?
You see, there are two things. One is a proof of concept, that you have something and you try to prove. And second thing is its replication. So there are a lot of proof of concepts which do not get replicated, and therefore out of 10, 20, 100 things, one will be proven. And therefore, if we talk about, say, peptide therapy, what is peptide? In an alphabet, it is amino acid. When it is a word, it is called peptide. When it is a large, it is called protein. So it's a part of a protein. And peptide, semaglutide has become successful. So semaglutide can help reduce the weight or even control diabetes. So something could be successful, but they have worked for at least 100 molecules when the semaglutide becomes successful. Now currently, Russia is also looking at one such product which is called Ipitalon. But Ipitalon is not FDA approved anywhere in the world. So if they develop that proof of concept, they try to replicate, they do clinical trial and prove that yes, it is successful, world will salute that. Secondly, what you call bioprinting, etc. These are the proof of concept also. But you know, sometimes anything which works on a disease cannot be used for anti-aging. For example, there are gene therapy, or there are which are bone marrow transplant. They can be used for cancer, myeloma, multiple myeloma, etc., leukemia. But they cannot be used for anti-aging. We have seen in HIV, there are 4 or 5 HIV patients in the world who became HIV negative. But why? The treatment was given for cancer and the person became HIV negative. But that cannot be replicated for every HIV person. So I think there are 2 different things. We should, as a medical scientific people, should keep open eyes. See if something is scientifically proven. If it is not, we should shun them. And secondly, as Dr. Shikha said, currently the scenario is such that for everything is for rich and for others die early is the best. So those who can spend, they can look better, they can live longer, they can have heart transplant and kidney transplant. Those who cannot, they have to look at only preventive health. So I think as a country, India, we should focus mainly on preventive health, and that is the time-tested thing which we can do. And just to give a simple example, when we got independence, the average lifespan in India was 35. Today is 72. It has not happened like a magic. We invested on childhood vaccination, death prevention in mother and child, preventive health, and by that way we can reach up to double the age what we had in about 60 years before.
Absolutely. So that's a very interesting point that you're making, Dr. Gilada, that let's look at the quality of our lives. But one quick question before we wrap this up. Dr. Shikha Sharma, you talked about ancient wisdom, about Ayurveda, something that Jeff Bezos is looking for, something that Putin is looking for, something that you have Sam Altman looking for. Is that perhaps already part of our Indic traditions?
Absolutely. If you look at the Honorable Prime Minister, why is he insisting that we have to understand our ancient systems and traditions? Because they were real. If you really see, yoga, meditation has become worldwide. Where has it come from? From India. And it has been accepted because it works. It's scientific and it has worked for thousands of years. Now, what we need to do with Ayurveda is create the full research around Ayurveda. Already a lot is happening, but add more to it. Already 55,000 research papers have been published, but do more of it. Standardize it, structure it, create more laboratories, create more research grants, and you will see Ayurveda will lead the way, because this is like yoga, like meditation, a science which was working earlier. It kind of disappeared for a while, but again, there is a kind of a resurrection of the science.
Well, thank you so much, Dr. Ishwar Gilada, as well as Dr. Shikha Sharma, for breaking it down for us. The question was, is there a formula to live forever? Well, Russia is working towards it. President Putin is working towards it. He perhaps looks like this at his age because of certain steps. But does that mean this is scientific intervention, or does it mean healthy living? And what the world is running after today, the fountain of youth, is that elusive fountain of youth already part of our Indian traditions? Perhaps something you should think about. Thank you so much, both of you, for joining us, and all our viewers for joining us here on the show. I'll see you again tomorrow, 6:30 p.m. right here on Times Now's Decoding Now.
When newsmakers watch the news, they watch it only on Times Now. Trump reposts Times Now news break. Big news break, global impact. President Trump shares Times Now's clip.
The US President Donald Trump joined via the phone and said that he loves India and loves Prime Minister Modi, marking a strong gesture of goodwill during the celebration.
Times Now makes global headlines. Trump posts coverage of Trump's Sergio call. Even Donald Trump watches Times Now. World's most powerful man gets his news from Times Now. Action begins here.